What's up, horror fan? Welcome back to the channel. So for today's episode, we are talking about the launch of a new horror movie production company. We also have some update information on the upcoming film, The Rule of Jenny Penn, and Mike Flanagan will be writing a horror version of Clayface for DC Studios. So let's get into it. Zak Bagans launches horror movie production company Scarehouse Films. Popular paranormal investigator Zak Bagans is headed into the world of horror cinema with new production company Scarehouse Film. The outlet details Scarehouse Films, which will initially be funded with a multi-million-dollar investment by Bagans, plans to go into production on 3 independent horror films in 2025. Zak Bagans has been the hottest name in the paranormal investigation field for the last several years, creating an empire as a television personality, museum operator, and author. In addition to hosting the mega popular Discovery Plus series Ghost Adventures, which has been running since 2008, Bagans has also created shows including Paranormal Challenge and Deadly Possessions. On the film side, Bagans wrote and directed the 2018 documentary Demon House, and he also owns and operates his own haunted museum that opened in 2017. Bagans signed a 3-year deal with Discovery Plus back in 2022, ensuring that Ghost Adventures will continue on Discovery Plus streaming service at least through next year. The series launched on Discovery Plus in January 2021 and has consistently trended as a top 5 franchise on the platform. Bagans recently joined forces with filmmaker Eli Roth on the new semi-scripted series The Haunted Museum, a cinematic take on the tales of terror behind the most haunted artifacts on display in Bagans' Las Vegas Museum. Zak Bagans has also appeared as a guest star on Food Network's seasonal baking competition series Halloween Wars, providing his own inspiration for bakers' spooky confections. I'm happy to see this. I'm happy to see that there's others seeing the potential when it comes to horror films, especially indie horror films, that they're willing to put up the investment for other creators to step in, see what they can bring to the table. And all this does is bring us more and more fresh ideas and new takes on potential new IPs and new franchises that we could get in the future. As I've said many times before, there's only so many sequels you can make to Saw or Halloween, Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street. I mean, a lot of these franchises that we have had for many years and decades at this point, it is nice to see, again, that there are others out there that are willing to put up the money, put up the investment to give us fresh ideas. And we have now here 3 independent horror films coming in 2025 just from this initiative alone. And we know 2025 is going to be a heavy year for horror films, so this just adds more to it, which I'm excited for. Between 2024 and 2025, these are going to be 2 very big years for horror films, so very excited to see this, and I can't wait to get the announcements on what these 3 independent horror films are going to be, who's going to be behind them as far as writing, directing them, who's going to be starring in them. So once we have that information, we will make sure to bring that to you. All right, so our next topic is come play The Rule of Jenny Penn when it hits theaters next spring. The Fantastic Fest Award winner stars Jeffrey Rush and John Lithgow. We covered this film a couple of times on previous episodes. We also did a trailer reaction review on this film. If you have not checked those episodes out, please go back and do so, especially the trailer review and reaction. It is an amazing trailer. I have high hopes for this film. It's got nothing but praise, and this article is going to speak to that as well. After a hit run at Fantastic Fest this year, The Rule of Jenny Penn has been acquired by IFC Films for a domestic release in early next year. Starring Jeffrey Rush and John Lithgow, the nursing home horror film will hit theaters on March 7th, 2025. Directed by James Ashcroft, who wrote the film with Eli Kent, The Rule of Jenny Penn won both Best Director and Best Actor for Rush at this year's Fantastic Fest, as well as a dual Best Actor win for both Rush and Lithgow at the 2024 Sitges International Film Festival. And then right here we have a description of what the film is about. We're not going to go over this description in any great detail. Again, we've covered this description off on a previous episode, as well as the trailer review and reaction. So again, make sure to check out those episodes. The film is also set to hit Shudder sometime next year, though an exact release date for the platform has not been announced. It joins a number of other 2025 horror releases for Shudder and IFC Films, as well as RLJE Films, whose slate also includes Flying Lotus, Ash, Clown in the Cornfield, adapted from Adam Caesar's novel, and the Norwegian language film The Ugly Stepsisters. So quick note, we just recently did a trailer reaction review on Ash. Make sure you check that out. And in one of our last episodes, we did cover in great detail The Ugly Stepsister, which which is going to be a horror spin on the Cinderella story, now that that is now public domain. Their slate also includes a handful of thrillers, including The Dead Thing, Armand, and Inheritance, starring Brigden's Phoebe Dynevor. The Rule of Jenny Penn hits theaters on March 7th, 2025, as we mentioned above. Again, I have high hopes for this film. The trailer is absolutely eerie. John Lithgow looks phenomenal in this role. We have seen him in some aspect of horror. He was in Dexter as a serial killer. I mean, yes, he's a serial killer, but doesn't really play, I would say, a sadistic, eerie type feeling. He's jumping back from character to character, playing your everyday husband and dad to playing the serial killer. So he's playing a dual role during that season of Dexter. But in this, if you go take a look at our trailer review. If you just look at this picture here from the film, he carries around this doll, and again, it's just creepy as anything. So highly recommend checking that out. And we will be seeing this film. Again, it's getting nothing but early praise, and obviously it's getting awards for the work that's being put into it. So high hopes for this one. All right, so moving into our last topic for tonight, the Mike Flanagan-written Clayface movie will release in September 2026. So this film has recently also been confirmed by James Gunn, one of the co-CEOs for DC Studios. That recently just got confirmed a couple of hours ago, so we do know that this is going to be happening. Officially confirmed earlier this week, Mike Flanagan is writing Clayface movie for DC, and it has a release date. Warner Brothers will release DC's live-action Clayface movie on September 11th, 2026. At this time, the project doesn't yet have a director, so we'll have to stay tuned for those updates. No plot details for the Mike Flanagan written Clayface movie have been announced, but Flanagan tweeted back in 2021 that his dream Clayface movie was a horror thriller tragedy. Whether or not that ended up being the tone of the final product remains to be seen. The Clayface character was introduced by DC Comics in Detective Comics number 40 way back in June 1940. An adversary of Batman with a clay-like form and shape-shifting abilities, the character has been played on screen in both animation and live action. Matt Reeves, who does the Batman, and Lynn Harris will produce through 6 of Idaho Productions, and as a reminder, James Gunn and Peter Safran are now the heads of DC Studios. The reason why I'm bringing this up, especially on a horror channel, is the fact that we know Mike Flanagan's body of work. We do know he's up to be doing the next Exorcist film. He's also involved in bringing the Carrie TV series to Amazon MGM, and now been wanting to do a horror thriller tragedy version of Clayface, so that's why we're bringing it here. I think it would be a great film to see Clayface as a horror take. If you don't know this character, just Google the character. So here's an image of Clayface, one of many that are out there. This just happens to be the one that was used for the article, but I can only imagine what a film focused strictly on this character, but being a horror version would be, I think, tremendous. You don't see too many horror takes on comic book villains or characters, period. So the fact that we are going to be getting this from DC Studios and we have someone with horror experience doing it, writing it, I think it's going to be great. Now, as far as who directs it and what that final script will look like, as far as how close it will stay true to what Mike Flanagan writes, all remains to be seen. We have quite a bit of runway before September 2026, so much can change, but for right now, excited to see this and excited to see what Mike can come up with. All right, everyone, that's going to do it for today's episode. Just want to say a quick thank you to all the new subscribers to the channel. It is greatly appreciated. And thank you again for all those commenting on the videos. We are doing our best to comment and respond to each and every one of you. So again, keep the comments coming and we will keep reviewing them and replying back. And if you haven't done so already, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. It does help us out a lot. Drop a comment in the comment section. Let us know what you think about the new horror studio that's being created. And we're going to be getting 3 more indie films coming next year. Are you excited to see The Rule of Jenny Penn? Seems like a great film that's going to be coming out next year. And are you finally excited to see a horror take on a DC villain? I know I am. All right, everyone. Until next time, we will see you then. Peace.